Hi, Shalom, greetings from Jerusalem. Jane coming to you from my kitchen/living room in one room. I want to make this update to just explain to you a little bit about how this week has been in the Holy Land. Unless you live here, you have no idea. It's a roller coaster ride that just never stops. Precious hostage Elan Alexander was released from brutal Hamas captivity early this week. In some of the times where he was held in the dungeons in Gaza, he was actually held in a cage, shackled on his hands and feet and tortured. He was kidnapped into Gaza as an Israeli soldier, and they were brutal towards him. They starved him, they tortured him, they kept him in a cage, no shower, the most horrific conditions you can imagine. He was released, his family flew in from America, and today he was released from the hospital, and he now has a long recovery process ahead of him. So precious one, I'm sending you all my love, my prayers. May God bless you and keep you and encourage you and strengthen you. May He restore you mentally, physically, emotionally, into all areas of your life. May you quickly get a good life. I wish you all the best, whether he's going to America or he lives here in Israel. The Israeli military dropped some massive bombs around a hospital in Gaza. And according to many mainstream media, Israel was just bombing a hospital in Gaza. That's not accurate. Yair Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, the mastermind of the October 7 onslaught and massacre of Israel, was killed several months ago, but his brother Mohammed took over as the leader of Hamas. The Israeli military intelligence got news about where he would be in a very short period, a very short window that was opened. This is where he was going to be, and Israel dropped some massive bombs. That's what you saw in mainstream media in order to take out this vile Hamas leader. And according to some reports, there were other top Hamas officials, including the spokesperson for Hamas. The Israeli military has not yet confirmed the casualties of these vile Hamas terrorists, but those were the people that Israel targeted during that attack on underground tunnels beneath the hospitals, because the Hamas built a tunnel network that was the best in the world. You have the city above the ground in Gaza, and then you have a whole city of tunnels and bunkers beneath the Gaza Strip, naturally using schools, hospital, mosque, UNRWA facilities, so they are taking electricity for those sites. On that day, as a retaliation to that, Palestinian Islamic Jihad fired 3 rockets into Israel. 2 was intercepted by our missile dome defense system, and 1 fell in an open area. This week, the Houthis in Yemen also attacked Israel. Every time now they are targeting Ben Gurion Airport near Tel Aviv, the big international airport that you are landing in when you set your feet on the Holy Land. Every time that happens now, if you have the Homefront Commands app on your phone, you get a 1.5–2 minutes warning, and it blows up on your phone, and it says this is a missile warning, you need to find shelter. And that happened 4 times this week. One time there was a missile that didn't reach our borders, and then you literally have to grab your kid, get out of the shower, get out from the toilet, or in one case I was cooking dinner, so I didn't even hear it on my phone until the red alert sounded blasting outside my house. Every time I get dressed, I grab my phone. I don't run to my bomb shelter. I run on my balcony and I film, because I want you to know what the reality is like here in Israel. I want you to know what the reality is for millions and millions of people and children and Holocaust survivors and grandmothers and grandfathers who is living on the 5th floor without a balcony, without an elevator, without a bomb shelter, and they have to haul down all the stairs. It's not possible. But that's the reality. People who are out driving have to get out of their car and just take cover on the side of the road, moms with their kids, with their babies. So that has happened several times this week. And then of course, yesterday, the last 36 hours has been very, very difficult. A roller coaster ride that unless you live here, you can't imagine. And of course, in the midst of having these missiles attack, rocket attack, we had the most horrific terror attack of a young Jewish couple living in Samaria, having 3 boys already. And she's 9 months pregnant, and she was pregnant with another baby boy. And she goes into labor, and they go into their car and they start driving to the hospital. And then a vile, demonic Palestinian Arab terrorist, a sniper, is out hiding on the side of the road, and he shoots into their vehicle, and he plainly executes this beautiful 30-year-old young Jewish mother who is in labor, for crying out loud, murdering her, rushing her to the hospital, and they have to do an emergency C-section, taking out this baby boy. So while she is dying, life comes out of her belly, and that precious baby was transferred to Children's Hospital here in Israel, still in a critical condition, but I think in a stable condition. Horrific, horrific terror attack that I can't even begin to describe with word how horrible that is. So her funeral took place yesterday, with her family and friends coming together to say, you know, goodbye to this beautiful young woman. And she was actually someone who was a trauma counselor. Can you believe it? Always with a nice word, always with an encouragement to friends, to families, to her clients. And now she was brutally murdered while having labor, only for being Jewish, living here in the Holy Land. So yesterday was a very, very difficult day. And then in the midst of that, there was the Eurovision Song Contest. I grew up watching that as a kid in my house. We always had a party. It was very, very different back then, right? Over the last years, it has developed into something completely different. And normally I don't even watch it anymore. But because of the hate, the propaganda, the boycott of Israel and Israel's participation in this, the only democracy in the Middle East, of course, I am sharing about it, and I encourage you with many posts and videos to vote for Israel, because this year, can you imagine, the singer from Israel, this beautiful young girl, she is a Nova musical survivor. She was at the Nova Music Festival that was brutally attacked by hundreds of vile terrorists on that Black Saturday. And she's fled to a bomb shelter where Hamas murdered many of the people inside. And in order for her to survive, she was on the phone with her father, and he says, play dead. Dig under the bodies of your dead friends. And you don't move, and you play dead. And that's what she did for many hours until the IDF finally arrived and rescued her and other people in that bomb shelter. So this young, strong woman is a survivor of that massacre. She is the one who is representing Israel. And thank you for voting for her yesterday. She is now in the final, which is taking place in Switzerland Saturday night. I think there is 27 countries competing in that final, and Israel is gonna sing song number 4. Israel is gonna be number 4 that night. So be sure to watch the Eurovision Song Contest. You can watch online if you don't live in Europe and it's not being broadcast on your local TV, and you can go online and you can vote even if you don't live in Europe. So go and vote for Israel, this beautiful song that's about coming out of the darkness and into the light, sung by this beautiful girl who was hiding under the bodies of her friends who was brutally murdered on October 7th. So yesterday, this horrific terror attack with a Jewish mother being murdered, being in labor on the way to the hospital, Israel participating in the Eurovision song contest with the PLO terrorist flag being shoved in her face. She just stood there strong and proud at that beautiful Jewish girl she is. And then at night, last night, as I'm about to go to sleep, my phone is blowing up. Missile alert for Jerusalem. You have a couple of minutes to find shelter. So I quickly got dressed. I ran out on my balcony and I made the video again because I want the world to see that once again, millions of Israelis here in the Holy Land has to drop everything, to get out of bed and run for cover, run for shelter. And big fragments, pieces of fragment from that missile actually landed down in Samaria. So every time it's a miracle that people are not getting killed. It's a miracle that nobody's getting killed here in the Holy Land. So there you have it. This is the week that we have had. Donald Trump is now leaving this region. Israel has given Hamas, the vile modern-day Nazis in Gaza, a timetable and said, you know, if there's not a deal before Donald Trump is leaving, we are going to go into Operation Gideon's Chariot, and Israel is going to go and cut the head of the snake and eliminate all of these terrorists who cannot continue to live inside Gaza, because even if they released all the hostages and they will continue to build up tunnels and bunkers, and they will continue to build up and send rockets into Israel. When I look at my memories now from Facebook, 4 years ago, more than 3,000 rockets in these days were fired into Israel. More than 3,000 rockets were fired into Israel, and Jews were being lynched in Jerusalem and out around the country in that horrific time we were living in. So Hamas cannot continue to stay in Gaza. They have to be wiped out. So we don't have that genocidal terrorist organization still living literally at our doorstep. So let's see, the Israeli military, the Air Force, and also the Navy was targeting many places in northern Gaza overnight. And Israel is preparing for this. It's named Operation Gideon's Chariots. They are preparing for a new ground operation in Gaza. Tens of thousands of reservists has been called up, and they met. I think it was 102% that showed up, because they need to settle this once and for all, so peace can come to the Holy Land, and you don't have to live with these genocidal maniacs next door who is attacking you every time they want to, and who has declared that their open goal is the destruction of the Jewish state and the elimination of the Jewish people. So Shabbat is almost here. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for peace for the Holy Land. Pray for peace for all the men and women in uniform who is fighting for us 24/7, 365, putting their life on the line for us living here in Israel. And especially, would you say a prayer for this, the family of this beautiful young woman who was brutally murdered. They are now going to have the first Shabbat without mom. Without mom making the challahs and cooking and lighting the Shabbat candles and setting the table, because she was brutally murdered while being in labor, murdered for being Jewish, living in Judea and Samaria, the biblical heartland of Israel. The IDF is still continuing this manhunt against this deplorable terrorist, and rest assured they will not stop until this evil terrorist has either been killed or arrested. For such a time as this, we stand with Israel. Shabbat Shalom. Bye.